Take three.
Yeah, take three. Hi, I'm Matt from Power Productions. How are you today? I'm doing fine, thank you. Today we have a good show for you. We're going to be talking a little bit about being prepared. There's a lot of fear going on in the world today, and we are not about that, so we're not going to talk about those things, but what we are going to do is talk about how to be prepared just in case.
Yeah.
To my right over here, I have my lovely fiance, Emily Wood. She's going to be sitting in with us today and talking with us a little bit about what we need to do to be prepared.
Hi guys.
Yeah. So you're not going to want to miss it. Today we've got a great show for you today. We're going to be talking about how to be prepared in a world that's not so certain.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want to instill fear or have people think that this channel is all about fear and that you need to do this or you might perish, because that's not what we're doing. We're trying to get the message across that fear is sometimes a good thing and sometimes a bad thing.
But a lot of the times fear can hinder you.
Yes, that's
For
right.
sure.
It can. So we're going to be talking today a little bit about what you can do either in home or in the mountains or wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, to be a little bit more prepared. That way you will be able to take on what's coming at you. So I think the biggest thing for us to not fear is to be ready and to be clear of your mind and your body of bad information. So bad information being stuff that is negative and untrue. If your mind is full of those things, then you can't come to grips what you need to do.
Yeah, like I think that sometimes we get very fearful of the news and the things we see on social media, and then we just get sucked into it, and it just fear fills our head and our souls just full of scared thoughts and things that might be to come. But really we need to focus on the now and just knowing that it's okay. No matter what comes, it's going to be okay, and taking these little steps just to remind yourself and to just have these different things that we are going to show you later on that can show you that it's all right to have a little bit of fear, but really it's all right because you're prepared physically, mentally, with all your gear, everything.
Yeah, and some of this stuff is going to be things that you can use like in the woods or like in a camping scenario, or if something was to happen and you had
the
power goes out, something like that. So we've got a few things that we've written down, but one of the main things I'd like to say is that being prepared is something that has been around for a long time. It's not just now. It's been around even in the biblical days.
Yeah.
In the Bible it talks about in 1 Thessalonians 5:2, we must be ready for Jesus because he will come like a thief in the night. So what that says to me is that you just need to be prepared. You don't know what's coming, you don't know when it's going to come, but be prepared.
Yep.
Because that's how you get through things. If you go out and you're not prepared, like say you're in your truck and you go up to the mountains and there's a bunch of snow and you don't have a shovel, you don't have chains, you don't have a winch, you don't have any of those things, and you get stuck. You don't have food, water, blankets, any of those things, you might freeze to death. You might never get out of there, and maybe nobody knows.
And it's not even about having the proper gear. It's about physically or mentally being prepared as well. That, okay, what if I don't have my shovel? What if I forgot it? Think of different scenarios before you even go out, to different scenarios of what a plan would be if an emergency were to happen. How would you take care of it? Because if you might not have a shovel, but if you thought about it 100 times and you thought, oh well, what if something happens and I don't have a shovel and I get stuck in the snow? Find things in the wilderness that you can use to get yourself out of it.
That's right. Positive thinking. It's very powerful.
Yep. Don't let fear take over.
That's right. If you think positively, you can get out of a lot of things. If you tell yourself you can't do it from the very start, then you'll never even try.
Yep.
So one of the biggest things I feel that people misunderstand or overlook is their physical being, like their physical body. There's
physical health.
Yes, there's a lot of people out there that are overweight. I'm not trying to be mean or rude.
Us included.
But
we're working on it as well. You're going to be on this journey with us.
Yeah, in the same boat. But there's no way we're going to be able to run, hike, do all the things we may need to do if that time comes, if we're out of shape. So that's a big thing. Like we go to the track. We've started to walk. We've got a track at my daughter's high school that we go and we walk around the track every day. And we're starting to choose to eat a little better and not drink so much soda pop. And there's a lot of things. Drink lots and lots of water. There's lots of things you can do to help yourself in that area. And if you help yourself in that area, when the weight starts to come off, your mind starts to clear as well.
Yep.
There's something inside of you when you start to get healthy. It's just like everything else starts to get healthy as well.
Yep. You start to feel better.
Yeah, because most of the time, when you get out, you're out in the sun or out in the elements, and you're getting the vitamins, the natural vitamins that you need from the sun or whatever, fresh air, all those things. So it's good to know that you have to have a good physical body, because if you don't have that, then some of this stuff here isn't going to help you as much as it could.
Yep.
Our body works together, or it can work against itself. So it also depends on where you're holding up. So that's a big thing. There might come a time where you might have to stay in your house. That might be your last stand. You might, different scenarios may happen, and your house may be the safest place for you to be. And having some of these things in your house could save your life or help you to survive or to get to a different place. So some of these things that we have here for you today are going to help you in your home. They may not, but they're always good to have around because you never know.
We're going to walk you through all that stuff in number 2.
Yes. Okay, number 1 thing I think that is very important is water. Water, water, water. Okay?
Yep, because you're not going to be able to survive unless you're hydrated.
That's right. And what are a few things we can do to have water?
Well, there's a lot of different things that you can do depending on your situation where you're located. Like, say we were stuck in our house and we know that there's going to be some grid thing where everything's going to be shut down in the next couple days. And at home, what we would do is we'd do the best to clean out our tub. Even if we couldn't clean it out, we would fill our tub with water. We would fill our sinks. We would fill any empty water bottles, any ice chest, coolers, anything like that. Anything that you can store water in, you would want to fill it. And then later on, you could find a way. We'll go through different things later as well of how you could go about making sure that water is safe to drink. So anything that you can do to get as much water stored up as possible.
Yeah, and that's good. Another couple things, they do sell life straws.
Yeah.
And those are good. They're small. They can go in your backpack.
Or those little tablets.
Or tablets.
The little tablets that purify your water.
Right, that purify your water. And then, there's always the good old-fashioned way of boiling water.
Yep.
So those are just a few things you might want to think about. And if any of these things that we're talking about here you want to know a little more about, or you want us to cover a little better, just throw
throw your comments down below, and we can go through them.
Yep, right. So then the next on my list is shelter. We need shelter.
Yes, you need somewhere to keep you warm.
That's right.
Even if there's no power in the house, you find a way to keep yourself warm.
That's right. And
safely.
In your home is your shelter. And that's why I was saying that maybe your home is your best bet. Maybe you can't get out to go to the mountains. Maybe your situation isn't that dire. But, you know, even if the electricity goes out for a week, your fridge, the food in your fridge, all that's going to be bad. And your water's not going to be on. You know, even just electricity going out could be not good. So we're not just talking about end of the world scenarios here. We're talking about just being prepared indefinitely for anything. To come. So shelter is a big one. Now there's a few things you can use for shelter, and what do you think those might be?
I don't know. I think that, say you just don't have enough money to pay your power bill and your power goes out. You want to make sure that you have enough blankets and warmth in your house to keep you and your kids warm, or anybody. You know, sleeping bags that you can just roll up and have put away in an extra closet. You know, any type of like what we do in the wintertime, we plastic up our windows, try to keep some of the warmth in the house. Certain little things, just little stuff like that can help to keep your house warm, to keep your shelter wherever you're at. Like if we were in the mountains, we would, you know, find a way to build some type of lean-to, you know, to keep the wind blocked off. Just all kinds of different scenarios where you want to just have extra gear, not just the blankets on your bed, extra stuff to keep yourself warm and protected if you're in your shelter and you can't keep it warm with electricity or a fireplace or anything like that.
Yeah, and I think that that's a good point, because with like the sleeping bags and things like that, those things you can grab and go.
Yep.
So if you had to get out, you know, if the place you were at that you had a shelter in became dangerous, or, you know, something happened and you couldn't stay there anymore, those are some things you can grab. You can grab sleeping bags, bed rolls, you can grab those things, and with relative ease. They're not that heavy, and you can just go, you know, throw them in a pack, or throw them under your shoulder here, or under your arm, and carry them wherever you need to go. Also, I think it's good to have, maybe you can use, you know, a trash bag if you had to, for a shelter. If you were out in the wilderness and if that's all that you had, it's
pouring rain
nothing,
and you don't have a rain jacket.
Yeah, it's better than nothing. A poncho, you can buy ponchos for pretty cheap. And yeah, it's a poncho, but in a bad situation, it could save your life. You know, number one killer is hypothermia. You know, you get out, you get cold, you get wet, you don't have a way to start a fire, you don't have, you know, anything. You need to stay warm. So even if it was just a poncho, throwing a poncho over yourself or using it for a makeshift survival shelter is better than nothing. So yes, and like she was saying, you can also, if you're out in the woods, make a bushcraft. A bushcraft shelter out of materials that you find out in the woods. Okay, moving on a little bit here. Food. Food is next on the list. These don't go in any particular order. We're just
giving you some different ideas of what you would need in case of something happening.
So food. There's dried food, canned food, nuts, peanut butter, you know, fishing. You can catch fish. Fish is good. Hunting, any of those things, gathering. But there's also an MRE, something called an MRE, meal ready to eat. And you can buy these, and they stay good for about 5 years is what their shelf life is.
But they can last longer, depending on where you store them. The colder they're stored, the longer they last. Even though it says 5 years on the storage life, we've seen lots of videos and we've seen lots of stuff that shows that they can last a lot longer than that.
Yeah, like 10 to 15 years I've seen some of them. But they need to be stored in a cool, dry, dark space. And we keep ours under our bed.
It's cold.
And we don't keep our room very warm, so we like to sleep in the cold. So we're also going to be doing a little video on that later. but
That'll be video number 3.
MREs, dried foods, and some of that stuff you can do yourself. You can dry your own food.
A lot of people can their own food.
Yeah,
a lot of people
out there.
Dry their own goods. We do a lot of shopping where we have, we'll show you later too, where we have a lot of stuff, the shelf stuff that's dry goods that will last a couple years if something were to happen, even if we needed it in an emergency, where everything in the fridge goes out. We have just all kinds of canned goods and a shelf just full of dry goods, dry cereal, dry granola bars, anything like that that will give you the protein that you need for your body, or calories that you need for your body in an emergency, where you can get through the day without starving, and something to get you through. Even if it's just sugar, at least it's something that you can eat to get yourself through.
Yeah. Yep. So, and some of these things are just, they're not really essential, but they're just things to help your survival.
Yep.
Make it a little easier on you. Some people have had a lot less than what we're saying here and have survived. So
it's always good just to have a little bit extra.
Yeah, some of these things are good.
All of it, yeah.
Yeah. So the next one I would say is fire. Fire's a big one. If you're inside, in your home or something, and the electricity goes out, of course you're not going to be able to have a fire in there.
Yeah.
But in any other case, being warm, a fire is good.
Mm-hmm.
So with a fire, there's different things, but I would suggest a Bic lighter. There's all these, matches and all these things out there for you. But honestly, you can buy a package of 5 Bic lighters, and I think they run about $10 for 5 of them. And they can get wet. You can dip them in the river, wherever, a lake. You can throw them in there, and they will dry out and light every time. So to me, a Bic is the best survival lighter out there.
Yep.
And there's lots of other choices. I'm not saying it's better than some of these others, but for me, they're small, they're lightweight. I can throw a couple in my pocket, I throw a couple in my pack, a couple in my truck, and I've always got a Bic lighter.
Yep.
And I know that thing's going to light. But lighters, like this one here, always run out of fluid. I mean, it's inevitable. They're going to run out. So there is good other options to start a fire.
Yeah.
So.
And say that where we do need a lighter per se to light a fire to boil our water here at home, even though yes, you wouldn't light it in the house because the carbon monoxide is going to end up killing you in your home. But if you have a little back porch, front porch, anywhere where you needed to go out, start a little fire to boil your water so that you could get through.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one on my list is that we have here is a bag or a backpack.
Yep.
Bag or a backpack is really good to have. Carry all your gear.
Mm-hmm.
And you can put a lot of the stuff we're talking about right now into a bag.
Yeah.
We have a bag that we'll be showing in our next episode, so you won't want to miss that. A lot of the stuff
we'll walk you through everything we're going to put in the bag.
Well, a lot of the stuff we've got going on here, or that we're talking about here, we have visuals for those. Some of the stuff we don't, but a lot of it we do. So a bag or a backpack, pretty simple to carry all the stuff that you need. So you also will need a way to carry water.
Yes.
So we talked about water, and as Emily had said, you can fill up a bathtub, you can fill up all these things. But what happens if you get forced out of your home and you have portable water, but you have to take it?
You can't carry all that portable water.
That's
you
right.
have 10 cases of water, but where are you going to put it?
How are you going to carry? So this goes into thinking ahead. Like for me, I have a truck, and in my truck I've got a backpack. It's got gloves, it's got extra hats, beanie caps. I've got matches, I've got lighters, I've got an extra
little
knife,
bit of extra food,
dry food, MREs, water. I've got some water. It's not a whole lot, but it's enough for about 48 hours. So those are things you can do now before anything happens, And
so you have your go bag to
yep,
just grab it and
then
go.
you can make a go bag here at home, and then if something was to happen, you can go. But in the case that you need to get
water, but you can't take your 10 cases of water with you.
Right, so you have to have a way to take water with you. And there's a few things out there. We'll show you these
nifty little bags we have that are portable water bags, backpacks that have a water container in it that you can fill up and have ready to go.
Yep, and sandwich baggies.
Yep.
Those are good.
Any Ziploc bag, any kind of bag that seals up, even if it were a trash bag or something.
Yep, any kind of bag is good to have. Sandwich baggies are small. They can fit down in your pack, and they don't weigh nothing.
Yep.
And you can also use them to start fire in some cases. Yep. So those are really good. Canteens are good. You know, if you've got a canteen, that's good to have. And then, like Emily was saying, a hydration pack.
Yep.
So a hydration pack is good. It holds a good amount of water. Enough for you to, you know, portion it out.
Yep, enough for a day or two till you can find somewhere else to get more water to boil or whatever you may need.
Right. So, anyways, the next one that I've got, and this is just something that I would throw in my truck. It's not something I would literally carry with me unless I knew I was going somewhere. But this is something I'd put in my truck, and that is a shovel, a mini shovel.
Portable, foldable
shovel. It's really good to have when you're making shelter, or when you're like if you get caught in the snow, or I mean, there's multiple things you can do with a portable shovel that will help you tremendously. And that's pretty straightforward. A shovel digs, you know. In some cases, you could use it for an axe if you had to. I mean, if you had no other choice. Okay. And then talk about protection. Okay. Protection is a big one. When people start to go to the store and find out that there's no more store, or you know, things go wrong. When things go wrong, people go wrong. People start to panic, and that's what we're talking about.
Panic sets in,
the fear.
And it's the fear that controls your brain. It's a physical stimulation in your brain, and it literally, when you're stuck in that fear and anger and emotion, it's hard to get out of it. So people panic.
Yep.
So it's good to have protection.
Protection is really good to have, whether that be, you know, a firearm. If it's a firearm that you have for protection, that's good to have. Yep. But if you do have a firearm, make sure you know all your laws and your safety regulations. Don't do anything that's not within the law. But then another one is a knife, and a knife is a very good tool to have in any situation. I carry a knife on me at all times.
Yep, for survival reasons, not only for protection, but having a knife for any type of survival is great to have.
So I carry a folder knife. Okay, like this. It was pretty cheap. I bought it at the Walmart, but it's really good. It holds a really nice edge, and for whatever I need it for, it's been there, and it's good. You know, from where
he uses it every day for work, and anything he uses it daily.
You know, that is a good knife to have on you.
We can walk them through the other ones.
And then we've got this bigger one here. You know, something like this. And we'll go through all this in our next video. Yeah. But
we got a couple other ones we'll walk you through for survival reasons as well.
Yeah. So
the knives aren't necessarily for protection, but if it was a last resort and you needed it for protection, you would have it in your gear.
Yeah.
But most of the time, when we go to the mountains, we do any type of survival practice, anything like that. Usually, our knives are for our survival time.
Yeah, and knives are good for a lot of different things. Yeah. They're good to pass time. You can whittle sticks. Yeah. You can make things with a knife. They're good for gutting and killing animals. If you were in a situation where you had to have food, you got a knife to skin and dress out an animal. They're also really good for making fire. If you have a ferro rod, you
Yeah.
can use your knife to strike that and make fire with that. But they are good for protection. If that,
Last
like Emily
resort,
was saying, if that's your last stand, I'd rather have a knife than nothing. So, but like she's also said, knives aren't really your protection. They are more for your survival.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be a bad day to get caught out in the woods or somewhere without a knife.
Yeah.
Because a knife, even in the urban areas that I work or where I go in life, I use my knife all the time.
He uses it every day.
Every day. So I could just imagine being in a survival situation and not having a knife. It'd be bad. So yeah, real bad. Okay, so then the next one is a flashlight.
Yep.
Some sort of light source.
Some type of light. You don't want to get stuck in the woods and not have any light when it's pitch black in the middle of the night.
Yeah, and never travel at night, even if you have a flashlight.
Yes.
My grandfather taught me that when I was young. He's teaching me how to survive, hunt, fish, all those things.
You never want to do any of that at night.
Do not travel at night unless you're in a desert setting, because in the nighttime you can't see. Even with a headlamp or a flashlight, it's hard to see. And you might just walk right off a cliff.
Yep.
Because you don't know it's there. So don't travel at night. Best thing is to hunker down, start a fire, get your shelter, all those things going.
Get good rest and try again the next day.
And then go first light. Yep. So, but a flashlight is good to have. You know, that way you can see.
Yes. So you get stranded and it's almost dark. You want that flashlight to help you to get your shelter set up, to get your fire going.
What else does a flashlight help with? If somebody was to, if you're trying to get some help.
Oh yeah, you can use your flashlight to send signals as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. So anyways, this is a few things we thought that were kind of important. We didn't list all of them, and maybe our list is a little different from yours, but that's okay.
That's okay. If you have any suggestions for us, just put it in the comments.
That's right. We're all here to learn together.
Yep.
And I think we all need to have a good state of awareness.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be aware of things that are going on around us. That's the best way to be prepared.
Yep.
Because you can have all this stuff that we've talked about today. You can have all the best gear, everything, put away in your closet. But if you don't know it's happening, then none of that stuff is going to help you. So, we need to be aware. We need to know when things are looking like we may have to use some of this knowledge and these things to benefit us. So, we're not trying to promote fear here. We're just, we want to promote being prepared.
You need to find your own balance of what can cause fear to take over, and your balance of what knowledge and what information you need in your own self and your own life to be prepared. Because everybody has their own view and their own way of doing things, but just find your own groove that you can go on that shows you that middle balance of what preparedness you need without the fear taking over.
Yeah. So we just need to be able to know what's going on, around us. We need to know those things, and that way we know when to go. Because we need to know when to go, when to stay, and when to fight. And those are the biggest things right there. So is it a good idea to stay here when the building's on fire and everything? No, probably not. You probably should go. Now, there's times when it's good to stay, but then there's also times when you're going to have to stand up and fight. And I'm not saying that like fist to cuff, because that may happen as well, but what I'm more talking about is fight for your rights, for your ability to be a free person.
Mm-hmm.
The world is crazy right now, yes, and we just want you to know that being prepared isn't being fearful. It's dealing with a fearful situation and being ready to take it head on.
Yep.
We're saying we're prepared. We're not afraid, but we're prepared, and if whatever comes, we'll be ready for it.
Yep.
So to me, it's better to have a plan than to not. So you guys will have to decide what's right for you, whether to stay, to go, or to fight. And then it all comes down to your morals and what you believe.
Yep.
And also wanted to say we can get through anything in America as Americans,
yeah.
as long as we stick together. You know, I think that we want that. You know, there's a lot of things in this world that wants us to be divided. They want to divide us up, and I think as long as we stick together, then we'll get through anything. So like, share, and subscribe. That's all we have for you today.
Comment down below if you have any other ideas or thoughts.
Yep, and don't miss our next video. Our next video is going to be
we're going to walk you through all this awesome gear, show you some of the cool things that we have.
Yeah, and you're not going to want to miss it. So
Preparedness Part 2 coming up soon.
Coming up soon. So like, share, and subscribe. Comment, give us a thumbs up if you like our content. Let us know either way so we know what we're doing. And if you'd like to see more on these items that we're going to show in the next video, put that down in the comments. Like if there's one particular thing that you would like us to go more in depth on, just let us know, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Thank you.